Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Helen Keller. Have you ever wondered what makes a team truly successful? What is it that allows some teams overcome challenges effortlessly, while others struggle despite having great potential? The answer lies in collaboration and teamwork. In any environment, whether at work, in sports, or within a community, the ability to collaborate effectively is the key to unlocking success. But collaboration isn't just about sharing tasks. It's about aligning strengths, fostering trust, and creating a culture where every voice is valued. In this video, we'll dive into the essence of effective teamwork, exploring how clear communication, shared goals, and mutual respect can elevate a group into a high-performing team. You'll learn how to foster an environment where collaboration thrives and where each member feels empowered to contribute. By the end, you'll understand how to break down barriers, overcome conflicts, and build stronger connections within your team. Stick around to discover practical strategies that can transform your group dynamic and lead to lasting success. Because when you embrace collaboration, anything becomes possible. Building trust is one of the most important things you can do in any relationship, whether personal or professional. Trust is the foundation on which everything else is built. Without trust, communication breaks down, cooperation becomes difficult, and progress slows to a halt. But how do you build trust? How do you create an environment where people can rely on you, count on you, and truly believe in your word? The answer lies in being dependable and consistent in your actions. Now, let's be clear about one thing. Trust is earned, not given. You can't simply expect people to trust you. You have to prove to them, day in and day out, that you are someone they can count on. The key to this is consistency. If you're consistently dependable, people will begin to believe in you. And it's not just about saying the right things. It's about doing what you say you'll do consistently without fail. It's about following through on your commitments, being reliable, and showing up even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. Think about it for a moment. When someone says they're going to do something, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Do you trust that they will follow through, or do you have doubts? Now, consider the times when you've been on the other side of that equation. Have you ever let someone down by not following through on something you said you would do? How did that make you feel? More importantly, how did it affect your relationship with that person? Trust is fragile. Once broken, it takes time to rebuild. Dependability is all about showing up. It's about being reliable, even when no one is watching. If you say you're going to do something, you must do it. And here's the thing. People notice. They notice whether you follow through or not. The smallest promises you make, the smallest commitments you keep, those add up. Every time you keep your word, you build a little more trust. Every time you don't follow through, you take away a little bit of that trust. And remember, trust isn't just about big things. It's about the little things, too. If you say you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, be there. If you promise to call someone back, do it. If you commit to a deadline, meet it. It's those small, everyday actions that make the biggest difference. It's easy to think that trust is only built through big gestures, but it's really the consistency of your actions over time that truly establishes it. You want people to trust you? Then prove to them that you can be counted on every single time. This principle applies in all areas of life. Think about your relationships, your work, and even the promises you make to yourself. If you say you're going to work on a goal, make it a priority. If you commit to self-improvement, make it a consistent part of your routine. The people around you, whether your family, friends, or colleagues, will take note of your consistency. When they see that you follow through on what you say, they will begin to trust you more. And that trust leads to stronger communication, deeper connections, and better collaboration. Consistency isn't just about being reliable. It's also about being authentic. When you show up consistently as your true self, people start to trust not just your actions, but your intentions. They know you're not pretending to be something you're not. They know they can rely on you because you're real with them. Authenticity is the glue that holds trust together. People want to work with, communicate with, and be around people who are real. They don't want to deal with someone who's constantly changing, someone who says one thing and does another. Authenticity makes trust easier to build and even easier to maintain. But here's the challenge. Life isn't always predictable. Sometimes things don't go as planned, and you can't meet a commitment or follow through on something. It's not about avoiding those situations. It's about how you handle them. When things go wrong, be upfront. Be honest about it. If you can't make a deadline, explain why and offer a solution. If you fail to follow through on something, apologize and work to make it right. People respect honesty. They respect transparency. They may be disappointed that you didn't meet the expectation, but they will trust you more when you own up to it and take responsibility. It's in those moments of vulnerability that your dependability is truly tested. Let's talk about how trust and communication work hand in hand. When people trust you, communication becomes more effective. Why? Because trust removes the barriers to open and honest conversation. People are more willing to share their ideas, thoughts, and feedback when they know you will listen, respond thoughtfully, and follow through on what you say. Trust creates a safe space for communication. And when communication is clear and open, collaboration becomes much easier. Ideas flow more freely, problems are solved more effectively, and people feel more engaged. Now, ask yourself this. How often do you communicate your dependability? How often do you show people through your actions that they can count on you? Being dependable doesn't just mean keeping your word. It means being proactive in how you communicate. If you can't make a meeting, communicate it in advance. If a project is delayed, let everyone involved know early on. Being proactive in your communication shows that you value the other person's time and efforts. It shows that you respect them enough to keep them in the loop. Dependability doesn't happen overnight. It's built over time. It's the result of 1,000 small actions, 1,000 moments where you chose to show up, keep your word, and be reliable. It's about creating a habit of dependability in everything you do. Start small. Show up for yourself first. Be consistent in your actions and promises to yourself. Then, extend that same dependability to others. Over time, your actions will speak louder than words. People will begin to rely on you, not just because you say you can be trusted, but because you consistently prove it through your actions. The best way to build trust in your life is to become the person people can count on. The person who does what they say they'll do. The person who shows up when they say they will. The person who communicates openly and honestly, even when it's difficult. When you build trust, you create the foundation for strong relationships, effective communication, and a more fulfilling life. And that's what truly matters. So, commit to being dependable, commit to being consistent, and watch how it transforms not just your relationships, but your entire life. Dependability is the art of showing up every time and doing what you said you would do. It's not about being perfect. It's about being reliable. If you want to become someone people trust, start by being someone who consistently does what they say they'll do. It's that simple. Start today, and the results will speak for themselves. One of the greatest strengths we have as individuals and as teams is the ability to value and embrace different perspectives. Too often, we get stuck in our own ways of thinking, trapped by our own experiences, and limited by our own assumptions. But the truth is, if we want to create truly innovative solutions, if we want to tackle complex problems and build something that lasts, we need to break free from our narrow views and welcome new ways of thinking. The more we value and incorporate different perspectives, the more creative and powerful the solutions we create will be. Think about it. The world we live in is diverse. The people we interact with, whether at work, in social settings, or even within our own families, come from different backgrounds, have different experiences, and carry different viewpoints. Yet, how often do we listen to and actively consider those viewpoints? How often do we challenge our own ideas and allow ourselves to be open to new ways of thinking? Embracing diverse perspectives isn't just a nice-to-have skill. It's essential for creating solutions that are effective, sustainable, and forward-thinking. The first step in valuing different perspectives is to listen. Too often, we listen to respond, not understand. We're so focused on what we're going to say next that we don't take the time to really hear what the other person is saying. But when we genuinely listen, we open the door to understanding. Listening is not just about hearing words. It's about hearing the underlying ideas, the emotions, and the reason behind those words. By listening with an open mind, we create space for new insights, and we give others the opportunity to contribute to the conversation in a meaningful way. When you listen and understand, you begin to see things from a different angle. You start to recognize the value in someone else's experience, and you realize that their perspective offers something unique that can enrich your own understanding. It's easy to dismiss someone else's opinion if it's different from your own, but when you take the time to really listen and understand, you begin to see the gaps in your own thinking. You start to see how someone else's perspective might be the missing piece to the puzzle. But listening is only the first step. Once we listen, we must be willing to embrace and value those perspectives, even if they challenge our own beliefs or ideas. It can be uncomfortable to admit that we might be wrong or that someone else's idea is better, but growth never happens without discomfort. When we open ourselves up to new ways of thinking, we expand our capacity for innovation and creativity. We stop thinking in terms of my way or the highway and start thinking in terms of what's best for the team, for the project, for the solution. Diversity of thought is one of the most powerful drivers of innovation. When everyone on a team thinks the same way, the solutions they come up with will be limited. But when a team is made up of individuals with different backgrounds, experiences, and ideas, the potential for creative solutions grows exponentially. Each person brings something unique to the table, and when those ideas are combined, they create something far greater than the sum of its parts. Embracing different perspectives means recognizing that everyone's contribution is valuable, even if it's different from your own. When you value diverse perspectives, you also create a culture of collaboration. Instead of working in silos, with everyone focusing on their own ideas and solutions, you begin to foster an environment where people work together to build on each other's ideas. This kind of collaborative environment encourages individuals to share their thoughts without fear of judgment. It creates a space where people feel safe to express their creativity and where everyone's ideas are respected, regardless of their source. When people feel heard and valued, they are more likely to contribute their best ideas and work together to find solutions that wouldn't have been possible alone. One of the most important benefits of valuing different perspectives is that it allows us to break out of the echo chamber. We've all experienced it. The tendency to surround ourselves with people who think like us, who agree with us, and who validate our ideas. While this can feel comfortable, it can also be limiting. When we only interact with people who share our viewpoints, we miss out on opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. By actively seeking out diverse perspectives, we challenge our own assumptions and open ourselves up to new possibilities. This doesn't mean we have to agree with every idea we hear, but it does mean we give ourselves a chance to consider alternatives and expand our thinking. Another key benefit of valuing different perspectives is that it helps us make better decisions. When we approach a problem with a narrow viewpoint, we may miss important factors or overlook potential solutions. But when we bring in different perspectives, we gain a more holistic understanding of the issue. We're able to see the problem from multiple angles, and this allows us to make more informed, well-rounded decisions. Diverse perspectives help us identify blind spots, avoid groupthink, and come up with solutions that are more comprehensive and effective. So, how we start valuing different perspectives in our own lives? The first step is to challenge our own biases. We all have biases, whether we realize it or not. These biases can be based on our experiences, our upbringing, or our environment. They shape how we see the world, how we approach problems, and how we interact with others. But the more we recognize our own biases, the more we can work to set them aside and be open to new ideas. This doesn't mean we abandon our values or beliefs, but it does mean we become more aware of how our biases influence our thinking and decisions. Next, we need to actively seek out diverse perspectives. This can mean engaging with people who have different backgrounds, experiences, or expertise. It can also mean reading books, listening to podcasts, or watching talks that challenge our current way of thinking. By exposing ourselves to new ideas and perspectives, we expand our knowledge and grow as individuals. The more we seek out different viewpoints, the more we learn, and the more creative and effective our solutions will be. Valuing different perspectives also means encouraging others to share their ideas. As a leader, a teammate, or even just as a friend, you have the power to create an environment where diverse perspectives are welcomed and valued. Ask questions that prompt people to think critically and share their unique insights. Listen without judgment, and encourage others to do the same. When people feel that their opinions matter, they are more likely to contribute and collaborate, which ultimately leads to better solutions and stronger relationships. Finally, valuing different perspectives requires humility. It means acknowledging that we don't have all the answers and that other people's ideas are just as valid as our own. It means recognizing that we can learn from others, no matter where they come from or what their background is. It means setting aside our egos and embracing the idea that we are stronger together. When we embrace humility, we open ourselves up to growth, learning, and collaboration. In the end, valuing different perspectives is about creating a mindset of openness, collaboration, and creativity. It's about recognizing that the best solutions come from the combination of many different ideas, and that we are stronger when we work together. So, start listening more, start seeking out diverse perspectives, and start challenging your own assumptions. The more you value the perspectives of others, the more creative and effective you will become in solving problems and creating lasting change. Effective communication is the heart of all successful relationships, whether in the workplace, at home, or with friends. But communication isn't just about talking. It's about connecting. Too often, we go through the motions of speaking and listening, but we don't truly connect with the people we're communicating with. To truly connect, we need to communicate openly and listen with intention. When we communicate openly, we share our thoughts and feelings honestly. This openness builds trust, fosters understanding, and creates an environment where everyone feels comfortable expressing themselves. But openness alone isn't enough. We also need to listen with intention. This means listening not just to hear, but to understand. When we listen with intention, we make space for the other person's perspective, and we respond in a way that shows we value their thoughts and feelings. The foundation of communication is trust. When trust is present, people feel safe to express themselves fully without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. But trust isn't built overnight. It takes time, effort, and consistency. When you communicate openly and listen with intention, you create the foundation for that trust to grow. People know that you're willing to hear them, that you're genuinely interested in what they have to say, and that you'll respond with respect and understanding. Openness in communication requires vulnerability. We all have fears, doubts, and insecurities. But when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable in our communication, we invite others to do the same. Vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing or exposing every detail of our lives, but it does mean being honest about our feelings, needs, and desires. When we allow ourselves to be real with others, we create deeper, more meaningful connections. Listening with intention is just as important as speaking openly. Many times, we think we're listening when in reality, we're just waiting for our turn to speak. We're already formulating our response instead of fully hearing the other person's words. Listening with intention means being present in the moment, focusing entirely on what the other person is saying, and withholding judgment until they have finished speaking. It means giving them the space to express themselves completely before we respond. When we listen with intention, we not only hear the words being spoken, but we also listen to the tone of voice, the body language, and the emotions behind the words. Often, the true meaning of a conversation is found not in the words themselves, but in the subtle cues and feelings that come with them. By paying attention to these signals, we gain a deeper understanding of what the other person is trying to communicate. This makes us more empathetic and better able to respond in a way that truly connects. Listening with intention also means asking questions that show we're interested in the other person's perspective. Instead of just agreeing or disagreeing, we can ask open-ended questions that invite them to share more. For example, asking, "Can you tell me more about that?" Or, "What led you to think that?" encourages the other person to open up and share more deeply. It shows them that we're not just waiting for our chance to speak, but that we genuinely care about understanding their point of view. In any relationship, communication is a two-way street. It's not just about expressing our thoughts. It's about understanding the thoughts of others. By communicating openly and listening with intention, we create a space where both sides can share, understand, and collaborate. This kind of communication leads to stronger, more connected relationships, whether at work, in friendships, or with loved ones. One of the most powerful things we can do to improve our communication is to practice active listening. Active listening involves giving our full attention to the speaker, showing empathy, and responding thoughtfully. This means not interrupting, avoiding distractions, and focusing entirely on the person in front of us. When we practice active listening, we show respect and appreciation for the other person's thoughts and feelings. We let them know that they matter and that what they have to say is important. Another key to effective communication is being clear and concise in our own speech. Too often, we assume that others understand what we're saying, but we leave out key details or use language that's unclear. When we communicate openly, we need to make sure that we're expressing ourselves clearly so that the other person can understand us. This means taking the time to think before we speak, choosing our words carefully, and avoiding unnecessary jargon or confusion. Being open in communication also involves being open to feedback. Sometimes we may not communicate as effectively as we think, and that's okay. It's important to remain open to constructive criticism and to be willing to adjust how we communicate to improve our connections with others. Feedback is a valuable tool for growth, and when we approach it with an open mind, it helps us become better communicators and better listeners. When we communicate openly and listen with intention, we create an environment where everyone feels heard, valued, and respected. This builds trust and strengthens relationships. It also encourages others to communicate openly as well. When we set the example by being transparent, empathetic, and engaged in our conversations, others will follow suit. They'll feel safe to share their thoughts, ideas, and concerns, which leads to more meaningful and productive interactions. But here's the truth. Effective communication takes effort. It's easy to fall into bad habits, like interrupting, assuming we know what the other person is thinking, or avoiding difficult conversations altogether. But if we want to build stronger relationships, both personally and professionally, we need to commit to improving how we communicate. We need to make a conscious effort to listen more intently, to be more open in our own communication, and to show respect for the thoughts and feelings of others. It's also important to remember that communication isn't just about words. Nonverbal cues like body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice play a huge role in how we communicate. When we communicate openly, we need to pay attention to these nonverbal signals, both in ourselves and in others. Are we sending the right message with our posture or our facial expressions? Are we picking up on the other person's nonverbal cues to understand their emotions and reactions? In addition to verbal and nonverbal communication, timing matters. There are times when a conversation needs to be urgent, and there are times when it's better to wait. If we're not in the right frame of mind, or if emotions are running high, it's important to take a step back and wait until we can communicate more clearly. Timing is a crucial part of effective communication because it affects how well our message is received. Listening with intention also means being patient. Sometimes, people need time to gather their thoughts or to articulate their feelings. When we listen patiently, we give them the space they need to express themselves without rushing them or cutting them off. Patience fosters understanding and empathy, which are essential for connecting deeply with others. When we communicate openly and listen with intention, we create an environment where people feel seen, heard, and understood. This doesn't just lead to better communication. It leads to stronger relationships, deeper connections, and more meaningful interactions. Whether you're communicating with a friend, a colleague, or a loved one, the ability to listen attentively and speak openly is one of the most powerful tools you have for creating lasting, positive connections. So, make a commitment to improve your communication. Listen more deeply, speak more openly, and watch how your relationships transform. When challenges arise, it's easy to become discouraged or overwhelmed, especially when facing them with others. It's human nature to feel the weight of difficulty and to question whether we can push through. But here's the truth. The way we respond to challenges, not just individually but together, determines the success of any team, relationship, or project. Resilience, paired with a positive attitude, can turn obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into learning experiences. One of the most powerful things you can do when facing challenges together is to maintain a positive mindset. A positive mindset doesn't mean ignoring the difficulty or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. It means approaching challenges with the belief that no matter how tough things may seem, there's always a solution, a lesson, or a silver lining to be found. When you face challenges with optimism, it shifts your perspective. Instead of seeing the situation as an insurmountable problem, you start to see it as a temporary setback that you can overcome. This mindset is contagious, especially within a team. When you remain positive, It encourages others to stay focused, to keep moving forward, and to not give up even when things get tough. Resilience is about the ability to bounce back from adversity. It's about not letting setbacks define you or your team. Resilience means staying focused on the goal, even when things don't go as planned. It's the ability to pick yourself up, learn from the experience, and keep going. The most successful people in teams are not those who never face challenges. They are those who face challenges head-on, adapt when things go wrong, and keep working toward their goals with determination and persistence. When you're faced with a difficult situation, remember that challenges are often temporary. It may seem like the issue at hand will last forever, but it won't. Time moves forward, and every challenge has an end. The key to getting through it is to stay grounded, keep moving forward, and not let temporary obstacles dictate your long-term goals. Staying positive and resilient in these moments will help you push through and come out stronger on the other side. It's important to remember that facing challenges together is what makes the process easier and more effective. When we work as a team, we draw on the strengths of each individual. Each person brings their own skills, experiences, and insights, and these combined resources create solutions that wouldn't be possible alone. When facing challenges together, support becomes one of the most powerful tools we have. A supportive environment encourages everyone to stay positive, share ideas, and lean on one another for help when needed. However, building resilience as a team requires more than just staying positive. It requires open communication. When challenges arise, it's easy for emotions to run high, and communication can break down. But the ability to communicate openly, honestly, and calmly, especially in difficult times, is what keeps the team unified. In times of difficulty, ensure that everyone has a chance to express their concerns, offer solutions, and contribute to the overall direction of the team. Everyone has a role to play, and when those roles are communicated clearly, each person can take ownership of their part in solving the problem. In addition to communication, patience is another critical element in facing challenges together. Challenges often don't have quick fixes, and solutions might not come immediately. It's easy to get frustrated when things aren't moving as fast as you'd like, but patience allows you to think clearly, make thoughtful decisions, and stay focused on a long-term goal. Patience in tough times shows the strength of your character forward and allows the team to keep. Even when it feels like things are slow or the road is long, having the patience to continue can make all the difference. Another key aspect of staying positive and resilient in the face of challenges is managing stress. Stress is a natural part of any difficult situation, but how we manage it determines how well we perform as a team. Stress can cloud our judgment, make us less effective, and hinder our ability to make good decisions. As a team, finding ways to manage stress, whether through short breaks, mindfulness techniques, or simply taking a moment to reset, helps maintain a level head and keeps everyone focused on the task at hand. Stress management also prevents burnout, allowing everyone to stay motivated and energized for the long haul. A resilient team is one that doesn't just survive adversity, but thrives through it. Thriving in adversity means using the challenge as an opportunity to learn and grow. It means looking at setbacks as learning experiences that help the team become better, stronger, and more equipped to handle future challenges. Every challenge you face together is a chance to improve as individuals and as a team. The more you face challenges with a positive, resilient attitude, the more you learn to handle difficult situations in the future. One of the most effective ways to build resilience as a team is by celebrating small wins along the way. When facing a large, daunting challenge, it's easy to focus only on the end goal and forget to appreciate the progress being made. Celebrating small victories, whether it's solving a problem, reaching a milestone, or simply maintaining a positive attitude, reminds everyone that progress is being made, and it helps fuel the team's motivation. These small wins give the team a sense of accomplishment and reinforce the idea that they are moving closer to their goal. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward success. In times of challenge, leadership plays a crucial role in maintaining positivity and resilience. A leader who stays calm, keeps a positive outlook, and encourages their team to keep moving forward helps create an environment of resilience. When the leader leads by example, it sets the tone for the rest of the team. The leader's ability to remain optimistic and composed, even in difficult times, provides a team with the confidence that they can overcome the challenge together. Good leadership isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about showing a team how to face them head-on with a clear vision, steady support, and unwavering determination. Finally, it's important to acknowledge that resilience doesn't mean never feeling down or discouraged. Everyone has moments of doubt, fear, or frustration. What makes a resilient team is the ability to face those emotions, acknowledge them, and keep moving forward despite them. Being resilient doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means understanding them, learning from them, and using them as fuel to keep going. In conclusion, staying positive and resilient when facing challenges together is the key to overcoming obstacles and achieving success. It's about maintaining a positive mindset, managing stress, communicating openly, and supporting each other. A resilient team doesn't give up when things get tough. They work together, learn together, and grow stronger together. Challenges are a part of life, but how we face them determines our success. By staying positive and resilient, we can turn any challenge into an opportunity for growth and achievement. Integrity is not just a trait. It's the foundation of effective leadership and meaningful collaboration. When you lead with integrity, you inspire others to follow your example. Integrity is about being truthful, ethical, and transparent in your actions, regardless of the situation. It's about doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. When you lead with integrity, you build trust, foster respect, and create an environment where others feel safe to express themselves and contribute fully. Integrity is the bedrock of leadership because it establishes credibility. Without integrity, your words will fall flat and your ability to lead will be compromised. People follow leaders they can trust, and trust is built on consistency, honesty, and ethical behavior. When you lead with integrity, people know that you mean what you say and that you will stand by your word. This consistency in your actions, both big and small, sets the tone for how others should behave. It's not just about what you do when the spotlight is on you. It's about what you do when the spotlight is off. Being a leader with integrity also means being open and honest about your values. You don't hide behind a facade or compromise your principles to please others. Your actions align with your beliefs, and this alignment is powerful. When others see that you act in accordance with your values, they are more likely to trust you and feel inspired to follow your example. This trust is essential for motivating others to collaborate fully. When a leader is transparent and genuine, people feel comfortable expressing their ideas, taking risks, and contributing to the collective success of the team. Another aspect of leading with integrity is owning your mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, and it's easy to get defensive or shift the blame when things go wrong. But when you lead with integrity, you take responsibility for your actions, admit your faults, and work to correct them. This doesn't mean you're weak. It shows strength and accountability. When others see you take ownership of your mistakes, they are more likely to do the same. This creates a culture of openness and honesty, where people feel empowered to learn from their mistakes and continuously improve. Leaders who hide from their mistakes or deflect blame foster an environment of fear, where people are hesitant to speak up or take risks. But leaders who own their mistakes create an environment where learning, growth, and improvement are encouraged. When you lead with integrity, you also show others that you respect them. You treat everyone with fairness, regardless of their position or status. Integrity means showing up for people, listening to their concerns, and treating them with kindness and respect. It's about being consistent in how you treat people, whether they're your peers, subordinates, or superiors. This respect builds strong relationships, and strong relationships are essential for collaboration. When people feel respected, they are more willing to contribute, share their ideas, and work together toward common goals. They know that their contributions are valued and that their voices matter. A leader with integrity also upholds the standards of the organization. It's easy to bend the rules or make exceptions when it's convenient, but leaders with integrity stand firm in their commitment to doing what's right, even when it's hard. This consistency in upholding standards creates a culture of excellence where everyone strives to do their best and follow the same ethical guidelines. When the leader sets a clear example of integrity, the entire team begins to follow suit and a strong foundation of trust is built. People know what to expect from their leader, and this predictability fosters stability, which in turn makes it easier for them to collaborate effectively. When a leader demonstrates integrity, it also encourages others to take ownership of their work. People naturally take their cues from their leader. When they see you acting with integrity, they will be motivated to act with integrity themselves. Integrity is contagious. When a team is led by someone who practices honesty, accountability, and transparency, those qualities become ingrained in the culture of the team. People begin to hold themselves to the same high standards, and this creates an environment where everyone is committed to doing their best and working together towards shared goals. Integrity also means standing up for what is right, even when it's difficult. As a leader, you will inevitably face situations where doing the right thing may not be the easiest or most popular option. But when you lead with integrity, you make the decision that aligns with your values and principles, even if it's uncomfortable. This courage to stand by what is right, even in the face of adversity, inspires others to do the same. It creates an environment where people feel empowered to speak up, challenge the status quo, and contribute their ideas, knowing that their input will be respected and valued. The ability to inspire others to collaborate fully depends on the trust and respect you build through your actions. When people trust that their leader is acting in their best interest and upholding ethical standards, they are more likely to collaborate and contribute their best work. Collaboration thrives in environments where people feel they are working together for a common purpose, where their contributions are valued, and where they can rely on their leader to guide them with honesty and integrity. Leaders who act with integrity create this kind of environment where collaboration becomes second nature. In a team setting, leadership with integrity also fosters accountability. When you lead with integrity, you hold yourself and others accountable for their actions. You create an environment where everyone is responsible for their contributions, and everyone knows that they are part of something bigger than themselves. When accountability is present, people feel motivated to do their best work because they know they are part of a team that values responsibility and ethics. They also know that their efforts will be recognized and that they will be held to the same standards as everyone else. Ultimately, leading with integrity isn't just about motivating others. It's about creating a culture that supports growth, learning, and collaboration. When you lead with integrity, you inspire others to be their best selves, to collaborate openly, and to contribute fully to the team's success. People are more likely to follow a leader who is honest, ethical, and transparent because they know that this leader has their best interests at heart and that their contributions will be valued. As a leader, your integrity sets the tone for the entire team, and that tone influences the level of collaboration, creativity, and success you will achieve together. Integrity is the foundation on which effective leadership is built. It's about consistency in your actions, honesty in your communications, and fairness in your treatment of others. When you lead with integrity, you motivate others not just to follow you, but to collaborate fully, to work together towards shared goals, and to achieve success in ways that benefit everyone. Integrity in leadership isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels empowered to do the right thing, too. And that's the kind of leadership that leads to lasting success. Conflict is an inevitable part of any team or relationship. It doesn't matter how well you get along with people, how aligned your goals are, or how much you agree on. At some point, differences will arise. This can happen because of misunderstandings, different perspectives, or even pressure from external factors. What truly matters, however, isn't the conflict itself, but how we manage it. How we handle conflict has the power to either break down relationships or strengthen them. When managed with patience and understanding, conflict can be an opportunity for growth, deeper connections, and better collaboration. Patience is essential when it comes to managing conflict. When tensions rise, emotions flare, and our natural instincts may be to react quickly, defend ourselves, or shut down. But taking a step back, staying calm, and showing patience are crucial to resolving conflicts in a way that benefits everyone involved. Rushing to solve the issue in the heat of the moment often leads to miscommunication and unnecessary escalation. Instead of trying to immediately resolve the conflict, take a moment to breathe, collect your thoughts, and gain clarity on the situation. This pause can make a world of difference in how the situation unfolds. Patience allows for better listening. Often, when we're in conflict, we're not truly listening to the other person. We're too busy formulating our response, defending our point of view, or reacting to the emotions of the moment. But true resolution comes from understanding the other person's perspective. It's not just about hearing their words. It's about understanding their feelings, their intentions, and their needs. When you approach conflict with patience, you create space for the other person to express themselves fully, and this leads to more effective communication and deeper understanding. People don't just want to be heard, they want to feel understood. When conflict arises, it's important to remember that it's rarely about the issue itself. Often, it's about the emotions that the issue triggers. Conflict often arises from unmet needs, frustrations, or miscommunications. These underlying emotions can cloud our judgment and influence how we react. If we don't take the time to address the emotions involved, we risk allowing the conflict to escalate or remain unresolved. Patience allows us to separate the emotions from the facts. It gives us the clarity to identify the root cause of the conflict and find a solution that addresses the underlying issues rather than just a surface-level disagreement. Managing conflict with patience also requires empathy. To truly resolve a conflict, we need to empathize with the other person's point of view. This doesn't mean agreeing with them or endorsing their actions. It simply means acknowledging their feelings and perspective. Empathy helps to de-escalate tensions because it shows the other person that you respect their experience and understand their concerns. When you show empathy, you create a safe environment where both parties feel supported and valued. This makes it easier to find common ground and move toward a resolution. In addition to empathy, managing conflict requires us to be willing to compromise. Conflict resolution doesn't mean winning or being right. It means finding a solution that works for everyone. This often involves compromise and flexibility. Sometimes, this means letting go of our own needs or adjusting our expectations to accommodate others. It's important to recognize that compromise isn't a sign of weakness or defeat. It's a demonstration of maturity and the willingness to work together for the greater good of the team or relationship. Compromise, however, does not mean surrender your values or ignoring your own needs. Healthy compromise means finding a middle ground where both parties feel heard, valued, and respected. It involves negotiation and collaboration, where everyone works together to find a solution that aligns with the team's goals and individual needs. Effective conflict management is about balancing the needs of everyone involved and ensuring that everyone feels like their perspective has been considered. Patience also plays a role in how we approach solutions. When we try to rush the process, we may overlook important details or jump to conclusions. But when we allow time for reflection and thoughtful discussion, we are more likely to come up with a solution that addresses the root cause of the conflict. Sometimes, the best solution isn't the first one we think of. It's a result of careful thought, collaboration, and patience. This also applies to follow-up after a conflict has been resolved. Giving people time to adjust to the solution, checking in with them, and ensuring that the solution is working is just as important as resolving the issue itself. It's important to remember that conflict isn't always a negative thing. In fact, conflict can be a powerful tool for growth. When handled with patience and respect, conflict forces us to confront differences, communicate more openly, and find ways to work together. Conflict can challenge assumptions, spark new ideas, and improve problem-solving skills. It can strengthen relationships by testing the team's ability to cooperate under pressure. In this way, conflict becomes an opportunity for deeper understanding, collaboration, and personal development. As leaders or team members, we set the tone for how conflict is managed within the group. When we model patience, empathy, and respect during difficult times, we show others how to handle conflict constructively. Leadership in conflict resolution isn't about being in charge or having all the answers. It's about guiding the group through the process of understanding, collaborating, and finding solutions together. A leader who handles conflict with patience helps to create a safe environment where team members feel comfortable voicing their concerns, expressing their emotions, and working together to resolve differences. Effective conflict management also requires emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence helps us recognize and manage our own emotions, as well as understand the emotions of others. In conflict, emotions can easily cloud judgment, so being able to stay calm and grounded while also acknowledging the emotions of others is crucial. When we have emotional intelligence, we can respond to conflict thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. We can navigate difficult conversations with empathy and self-awareness, which helps to de-escalate tensions and keep the focus on finding a resolution. Another important aspect of conflict management is setting boundaries. When emotions are running high, it's easy for conversations to become personal or disrespectful. Setting clear boundaries ensures that everyone feels safe to express their thoughts and feelings without fear of being attacked or dismissed. Boundaries help maintain a respectful and productive dialogue, and they allow the conflict to remain focused on the issue at hand, rather than devolving into personal attacks or unproductive arguments. Conflict resolution is also about being solution-oriented. It's easy to get caught up in blame or frustration during a conflict, but this only prolongs the issue and keeps the team stuck. A solution-oriented approach focuses on the future and how to move forward, rather than dwelling on the past. When you approach conflict with a mindset focused on solutions, you turn the conflict into an opportunity to improve, learn, and grow. This solution-oriented mindset empowers everyone involved to take ownership of the resolution process and work collaboratively to find the best way forward. In conclusion, managing conflict with patience is essential for strengthening team unity and fostering a collaborative environment. Patience allows us to listen with empathy, understand different perspectives, and find solutions that work for everyone. It helps us stay focused on the bigger picture and navigate the emotional complexities of conflict with calm and clarity. By approaching conflict with patience, we not only resolve the issue at hand, but we also build stronger relationships, improve communication, and create an environment where collaboration can thrive. The way we handle conflict defines the strength of our relationships and the success of our teams. So, the next time conflict arises, remember that patience is your greatest ally. One of the most important elements for ensuring that a team works effectively and efficiently is having clear, shared goals. These goals act as a compass, guiding every team member in the same direction. Without clear goals, it's easy for people to become distracted, disjointed, or lose sight of what's truly important. When everyone on the team understands and is aligned with the same goals, there's a sense of purpose and unity that propels the team forward. Setting clear goals is more than just making a list of tasks or milestones. It's about creating a vision that everyone can get behind, a vision that excites, motivates, and unites. These goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Smart goals. However, it's important to remember that the process of setting goals doesn't just stop at defining them. It's about ensuring that everyone understands their role in achieving those goals, feels a sense of ownership, and is inspired to contribute their best efforts. The first step to creating shared goals is to involve everyone in the goal-setting process. When you involve the team in setting goals, it gives them a sense of ownership and responsibility. It shows them that their opinions and insights matter, and that they have a stake in the outcome. This fosters a greater commitment to the goal because everyone has contributed to defining it. It also opens up space for diverse perspectives, which can make the goals more comprehensive and achievable. When team members feel included, they are much more likely to buy into the vision and work toward it with dedication. After involving the team in setting the goals, it's critical to ensure that everyone understands what those goals are. Clarity is key. You cannot assume that just because the goal is clear to you, it will be clear to everyone else. Take the time to communicate the goals effectively, breaking them down into clear, actionable steps. This means clearly defining what success looks like, outlining the timeline, and setting expectations for each individual or team member. When an entire team understands the goal and the role they play in achieving it, there's less chance for confusion or miscommunication down the road. Setting clear, shared goals also means ensuring alignment between the team's goals and the organization's broader mission or vision. When goals are aligned with the bigger picture, the team sees how their efforts contribute to the greater purpose, which can be incredibly motivating. It helps them understand that their work matters and that their contribution has a direct impact on the success of the organization. If the goals feel disconnected from the broader mission, team members may struggle to see the value of their work, which can lead to disengagement or lack of enthusiasm. One of the key benefits of setting shared goals is the clarity they provide in terms of prioritization. When goals are clear, everyone knows what is most important. This helps to minimize distractions and keep the team focused on what really matters. It also helps individuals and teams make better decisions because they know how their actions fit into the larger goal. There is no ambiguity. Everyone knows what needs to be done, and they can prioritize their time and efforts accordingly. However, setting clear goals isn't just about defining what success looks like. It's about defining how success will be measured. Measurement is critical to goal achievement because it provides a tangible way to track progress. This can be done by setting key performance indicators, KPIs, milestones, or deadlines. These metrics give the team clear benchmarks for progress and provide motivation by allowing them to see how far they've come. Measuring progress also allows for course correction when needed. If the team isn't moving toward the goal as quickly as expected, you can identify where adjustments need to be made. This ensures that everyone stays on track and remains accountable for their contributions. Once the goals are clear and measurable, it's important to regularly revisit and assess the progress toward those goals. This doesn't mean micromanaging or constantly checking in, but it does mean creating opportunities for reflection and feedback. Regularly assessing progress allows the team to celebrate small wins, address challenges, and make any necessary adjustments. It also ensures that momentum is maintained and that no one becomes complacent. Without regular check-ins, teams can lose sight of goals and allow distractions to derail their efforts. Keeping the goals top of mind through ongoing reflection and assessment keeps the team focused and motivated. Accountability plays a huge role in ensuring that goals are achieved. Everyone needs to know what their individual responsibilities are and how those responsibilities contribute to the team's overall success. When everyone is clear on their role, they are more likely to take ownership of their tasks and work hard to meet their commitments. Accountability should not come from external pressure, but should be intrinsic. Team members should feel a personal responsibility to contribute to the goal. Creating a culture of accountability ensures that everyone is doing their part, which makes it easier to meet the team's objectives. Another important element of goal setting is making sure that the goals are realistic and achievable. It's easy to get excited and set lofty goals, but if the goals are too unrealistic, the team may feel overwhelmed and demotivated. On the other hand, if the goals are too easy, the team may not feel challenged and may lose interest. The key is to find a balance where the goals are ambitious but still attainable. This balance pushes the team to stretch their capabilities without setting them up for failure. It's important to break down larger goals into smaller, more manageable tasks. This makes the goal feel less daunting and provides a clear roadmap for how to achieve it. At the same time, while goals should be realistic, they should also be flexible. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Unexpected challenges arise, new information becomes available, or the team's priorities shift. When this happens, it's important to remain adaptable. Flexibility doesn't mean abandoning the goal. It means adjusting your approach and recalibrating as needed. Being flexible helps the team stay resilient in the face of setbacks, and it ensures that the goals remain achievable even when circumstances change. As leaders, one of the most effective things you can do to ensure everyone is aligned with the shared goals is to lead by example. If you want your team to be committed, focused, and engaged, you need to demonstrate those qualities yourself. When you show up, communicate openly, stay dedicated to goals, and put in the work, it sets the tone for the entire team. Leadership is about guiding others toward success, and you can't expect others to be fully aligned and motivated if you're not fully aligned and motivated yourself. Finally, while setting clear goals is crucial, so is creating an environment where collaboration and support are encouraged. The best teams don't just work toward a goal in isolation. They work together to achieve it. Collaboration means that everyone is contributing their unique skills, knowledge, and perspective to the goal. It's about building on each other's strengths, offering support when needed, and sharing the collective success. A shared goal isn't just something to achieve individually. It's something to achieve as a team. When an entire team works together toward a common goal, the likelihood of success increases dramatically. In conclusion, setting clear, shared goals is essential for ensuring that everyone is aligned and moving in the same direction. When the goals are specific, measurable, and aligned with the team's values and the organization's mission, it creates clarity and focus. It gives everyone a sense of purpose and a roadmap for success. By involving the team in goal setting, measuring progress, and maintaining accountability, you create an environment where collaboration and motivation thrive. Clear goals provide the foundation for success, individually and collectively. When everyone is aligned, committed, and working toward the same goal, there is no limit to what can be achieved. Accountability is one of the most powerful forces that drives personal and team success. When you encourage accountability, You empower everyone to take ownership of their work, their actions, and their outcomes. It's not just about checking off tasks or meeting deadlines. It's about creating a culture where individuals are responsible for their contributions, where they feel a sense of ownership and pride in what they do, and where they are motivated to do their best because they know their actions matter. In any group setting, whether it's a team, a family, or a workplace, accountability isn't something that can be forced. It has to be nurtured. When you create an environment where accountability is valued and encouraged, it leads to a more engaged, productive, and empowered group. The goal is to create a culture where each person understands their role and responsibility, and where they are motivated to live up to the commitments they've made. Without accountability, it's easy for tasks to slip through the cracks, for commitments to be ignored, and for people to lose focus on what truly matters. But with accountability, everyone pulls together and works toward common goals with dedication and purpose. Encouraging accountability begins with clarity. People cannot be held accountable for something they don't understand. When expectations aren't clearly communicated, it's easy for confusion and misunderstandings to arise. To foster accountability, it's crucial to set clear, measurable goals and outline the steps needed to achieve them. Each person must understand what's expected of them and how their individual contributions fit into the bigger picture. When the objectives are clear and everyone knows their role, accountability becomes easier because people understand exactly what they are responsible for and how their actions will affect the team's overall success. One of the best ways to encourage accountability is to lead by example. If you, as a leader, are not holding yourself accountable, it will be much harder for others to do so. When people see that you take responsibility for your actions, meet deadlines, and honor your commitments, they are more likely to follow suit. Leadership isn't just about delegating tasks or providing guidance. It's about setting a standard through your own behavior. If you want others to take ownership of their actions, you need to demonstrate that you're willing to do the same. By leading with integrity and accountability, you inspire your team to hold themselves to the same high standards. At the same time, it's important to create an environment where people feel supported, not pressured. Accountability shouldn't feel like a burden or something that induces fear. When people are afraid of the consequences of failure, they're less likely to take risks, to challenge themselves, or to be creative. Instead, they're focused on avoiding mistakes rather than producing their best work. The key is to create a space where people feel confident that they can own their actions and learn from their mistakes. Accountability should be seen as an opportunity for growth, not a means of punishment. When people feel supported in their efforts, they are more willing to take responsibility for their actions and outcomes. A big part of encouraging accountability is giving people the tools and resources they need to succeed. You can't expect someone to be accountable if they don't have the right tools, knowledge, or support to do the job. Provide training, give feedback, and ensure that the necessary resources are available. When people have what they need to perform well, they are more likely to take ownership of their tasks. They are also more likely to take pride in their work, knowing that they have the tools to succeed. It's not just about telling people what to do. It's about empowering them to do it successfully. Equally important is providing constructive feedback. Feedback is essential for growth and improvement. When someone takes responsibility for a task, they need to know how they're doing and where they can improve. Feedback should be specific, actionable, and delivered in a way that encourages improvement rather than discouraging effort. Positive feedback helps reinforce good behaviors, while constructive feedback helps identify areas for growth. It's important to recognize that feedback should not just come from leaders or managers. It should be a two-way conversation. Encourage individuals to give feedback to each other so that everyone can hold each other accountable and work together to improve. Along with feedback comes the importance of recognizing achievements. When someone takes ownership of a task and succeeds, it's important to celebrate that success. Acknowledging and rewarding accomplishments reinforces the behavior you want to see and motivates others to follow suit. People are more likely to take ownership of their work when they know their efforts are noticed and appreciated. Recognizing achievements also helps build confidence. When people feel valued for their contributions, they are more likely to take on additional responsibilities and continue striving for excellence. One of the most challenging aspects of accountability is handling failure. We all fall short sometimes. We miss deadlines, make mistakes, or don't achieve the results we expected. But failure doesn't have to be the end of the road. It can be a learning experience. When you encourage accountability, it's important to frame failure in a way that promotes growth. Instead of focusing on the negative, focus on the lessons learned and how to do better next time. Acknowledge that mistakes happen, but emphasize that it's how we respond to them that truly matters. This creates an environment where people feel safe to take risks, make decisions, and learn from their failures without fear of judgment or reprisal. Accountability also thrives in a culture of mutual respect. When people feel respected, they are more likely to take ownership of their actions and contribute their best work. Mutual respect means valuing each person's skills, contributions, and perspectives. When everyone respects each other, it creates a sense of responsibility not only to the task at hand but to the team as a whole. People feel a sense of duty to each other, and this shared responsibility drives collaboration and success. Encouraging accountability goes hand in hand with fostering respect for one another's contributions and creating an environment where everyone feels their role is important. Another aspect of encouraging accountability is fostering open communication. When communication is open and transparent, it becomes easier for everyone to stay on track, ask for help, and clarify expectations. Without clear communication, it's easy for people to fall into the trap of making assumptions, which can lead to mistakes and misunderstandings. Encourage regular check-ins, open discussions, and honest conversations about progress and challenges. When communication is consistent and direct, accountability becomes a natural part of the workflow. Encouraging accountability doesn't mean being overbearing or micromanaging. It means giving people the space to take ownership of their tasks while providing the support they need to succeed. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels empowered to do their best work, to take responsibility for their actions, and to contribute to the overall success of the team. When you encourage accountability, you're not just making people responsible for their work. You're giving them the opportunity to grow, learn, and thrive. The end result of encouraging accountability is a team that is more self-reliant, motivated, and focused on achieving shared goals. When everyone takes ownership, everyone wins. A team that values accountability is a team that drives results, fosters collaboration, and creates lasting success. So, as you work with your team, remember that accountability is not a burden. It's an opportunity to empower individuals, strengthen the team, and achieve greatness together. In any environment, whether at work, in a sports team, or in personal relationships, recognizing and celebrating the contributions of others is essential for maintaining strong morale and fostering a culture of teamwork. Acknowledgement is a powerful tool for motivation. It reinforces the behaviors you want to see more of and encourages individuals to continue contributing to collective success. When you make the effort to recognize others, it not only makes them feel valued, but also strengthens the bond of the team, increasing collaboration and overall performance. Recognition doesn't need to be grand or formal, but it does need to be sincere. The key to motivating others and keeping morale high lies in genuine appreciation. People need to know that their hard work is noticed. They need to feel that their effort has meaning, not just for the organization or the team, but for the collective mission you are all working toward. Recognizing contributions is about creating a culture where people feel their value is acknowledged every day, where their work and input are seen as an important part of the team's success. Small gestures of appreciation can go a long way. A simple thank you or a word of praise for a job well done can have a huge impact. These small acts of recognition show people that you see them, that you notice their hard work, and that you appreciate their effort. It's easy to assume that people know they're doing a good job, but taking the time to acknowledge their contributions makes a huge difference in how they feel about their work and their place within the team. When people feel seen and appreciated, they are more likely to continue giving their best. But recognition shouldn't just be about giving compliments. It should be specific. When you recognize someone's contribution, be clear about what they did and why it mattered. Acknowledge the effort they put in and the impact it had on the team or project. Specific recognition helps reinforce the behaviors that contribute to the team's success. For example, instead of just saying, "Great job," try something like, "I really appreciate how you stayed late to finish that report. It was exactly what we needed to move forward, and it made a huge difference in our ability to meet the deadline." This kind of specific feedback helps people understand what they did well and why it matters, making them more likely to continue that behavior in the future. Recognition also plays a significant role in boosting confidence. When people feel like their contributions are valued, they gain confidence in their abilities. They become more willing to take on new challenges, to step up, and to go the extra mile. Confidence breeds creativity and innovation. When people know they are supported and appreciated, they feel empowered to take risks and contribute ideas that can lead to better outcomes. When individuals are confident, they are more likely to collaborate effectively because they feel secure in their role within the team and trust that their contributions will be respected. In a team environment, recognition fosters a sense of belonging and unity. Everyone wants to feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves, and recognition is a key way to help people feel included and valued. When contributions are recognized, it strengthens a connection between individuals and the team as a whole. People feel a sense of pride in being part of a group that acknowledges and appreciates their efforts. This sense of belonging encourages people to stay committed to the team and to continue working towards shared goals. It also builds loyalty. People are more likely to stay motivated and engaged when they feel like their efforts are genuinely appreciated. It's also important to remember that recognition can be a powerful tool for building trust. When you recognize others in a genuine way, it shows that you are paying attention to their efforts and that you value their contributions. This fosters trust because people begin to understand that their hard work will be seen and appreciated. They trust that you will acknowledge their efforts and that their contributions matter. Trust is the foundation of any successful team, and recognition plays a crucial role in building and maintaining that trust. However, recognition doesn't just have to come from leaders or managers. It's equally important for peers to recognize each other's contributions. When team members recognize and support one another, it strengthens the entire team dynamic. Peer recognition encourages a culture of collaboration and mutual respect. It also prevents burnout because people feel supported by their colleagues, not just by those in positions of authority. Encouraging peer-to-peer recognition ensures that everyone's efforts are acknowledged and creates a more positive and inclusive team environment. While recognition is important, it's also essential to ensure that recognition is fair and consistent. It's important that recognition is not given out arbitrarily or based on favoritism. Everyone on the team should feel that their contributions are equally valued, and that recognition is based on merit, not personal bias. When recognition is consistent and fair, it builds trust and a sense of equity within the team. It prevents resentment from brewing and ensures that everyone feels they are being treated with respect and fairness. The more consistent and fair the recognition, the more positively it impacts the morale of the team. Recognition should also be aligned with the team's values and goals. If the recognition is based on what is truly important to the team, such as teamwork, innovation, dedication, or creativity, it helps to reinforce the culture you want to build. When recognition is tied to the team's core values, it strengthens those values and keeps everyone aligned with the team's mission. It shows that you value not just the outcome, but the effort and attitude that goes into achieving it. This alignment ensures that everyone is working toward the same goals and that their contributions are moving the team forward in the right direction. Another important aspect of recognition is its role in motivation. Recognition can be a powerful motivator for individuals to continue putting in their best effort. When people feel appreciated, they are more likely to stay engaged and perform at a high level. Positive reinforcement helps to create a cycle of motivation. When individuals are recognized for their contributions, they are more likely to continue contributing. It becomes a self-perpetuating cycle of recognition, motivation, and continued effort. In addition to individual recognition, it's also important to celebrate team accomplishments. Celebrating collective success strengthens the bonds within the team. It highlights the fact that the team is working together toward a common goal and that everyone's contributions are part of the overall success. Team celebrations can be big, like a team event or a shared lunch, or small, like acknowledging the team's success in a meeting or sending a thank you. Note to the group, no matter the size, celebrating together reinforces the idea that collaboration is essential and that each person's contributions are necessary for success. One of the most significant impacts of recognizing contributions is its ability to maintain high morale. When people feel valued and appreciated, their morale is high. They are motivated to work hard and stay committed to the team's success. On the other hand, when recognition is lacking or inconsistent, morale can quickly decline. People begin to feel undervalued, disengaged, and unmotivated. Low morale can lead to burnout, disengagement, and even turnover. To keep morale high, regular and meaningful recognition is essential. At the end of the day, recognition is a simple but powerful way to strengthen relationships, foster collaboration, and maintain motivation. It is a tool that leaders and team members alike can use to build a positive and high-performing culture. When recognition is given with sincerity, fairness, and consistency, it has the power to transform a team. People feel more connected, more engaged, and more motivated to contribute their best efforts. So, take the time to recognize the contributions of others and watch how it lifts the entire team to greater heights. Commitment to growth and improvement is a cornerstone of long-term success, both for individuals and for teams. The world we live in is constantly changing, and to stay relevant, we must continuously evolve. Growth is not just a one-time effort. It's a lifelong commitment to learning, adapting, and striving to be better every day. The same goes for teams. If a team is not committed to growth and improvement, it will stagnate, and its potential will remain untapped. On the other hand, a team that embraces growth and improvement fosters an environment of innovation, collaboration, and success. When you commit to growth, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. You stop seeing challenges as obstacles and begin to view them as opportunities to learn. In the context of a team, this mindset shift is incredibly powerful. When every team member is committed to improving and growing, the collective strength of the group increases exponentially. A team that is constantly evolving is a team that can adapt to changing circumstances, tackle new challenges, and achieve higher levels of success. The commitment to growth begins with a mindset of curiosity and openness. When you approach every situation with a belief that there is always something to learn, you create an atmosphere where everyone feels empowered to grow. This mindset is contagious. When one person on the team demonstrates a willingness to learn and improve, others are likely to follow suit. The more people on the team adopt this mindset, the stronger the collective commitment to growth becomes. But growth doesn't happen automatically. It requires intention, effort, and the willingness to step outside of your comfort zone. It's easy to become complacent when things are going well, to settle into a routine that feels comfortable and familiar. However, it's in those moments of comfort that growth often stalls. When you push yourself and your team beyond the status quo, you force yourselves to confront new challenges, learn new skills, and explore new ways of thinking. Growth is often uncomfortable, but it's that discomfort that drives progress. In a team setting, the commitment to growth must be a shared responsibility. It's not just a leader's job to encourage growth. It's everyone's responsibility. Each team member must take ownership of their own growth and contribute to the collective growth of the team. This means being proactive about seeking out learning opportunities, being open to feedback, and taking the initiative to improve. It also means supporting your teammates in their growth journeys. Growth isn't a competition. It's a collective effort that benefits everyone. Feedback is one of the most powerful tools for growth. However, for feedback to be truly effective, it must be given and received with a mindset of improvement, not judgment. When giving feedback, it's important to focus on specific behaviors and actions, not on the person. Constructive feedback should be aimed at helping the individual understand what they can do better and how they can improve. Likewise, when receiving feedback, it's important to approach it with an open mind. Instead of becoming defensive, see it as an opportunity to learn. Ask questions, seek clarification, and reflect on how you can use the feedback to improve. Feedback should be seen as a gift, a chance to get better, not a critique of who you are. Along with feedback, setting clear goals is essential for growth. Without clear goals, it's easy to lose direction or become overwhelmed by the process of improvement. By setting specific, measurable, and achievable goals, you create a roadmap for growth. These goals provide clarity, focus, and motivation. They also help you track your progress, celebrate milestones, and adjust your approach as needed. Whether you're setting personal goals or team goals, it's important that everyone understands the purpose of the goal, how to achieve it, and what success looks like. But growth is not just about individual development. It's about team development. A team that is committed to improvement constantly evaluates how it can work more effectively, how it can communicate better, and how it can achieve its collective goals. This includes reflecting on past successes and failures, learning from both, and making adjustments moving forward. A team that is constantly seeking to improve its processes, workflows, and strategies is a team that will continuously increase its efficiency and effectiveness. Another key element of commitment to growth is resilience. Growth and improvement are often accompanied by setbacks and challenges. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to get discouraged and give up. However, teams that are committed to growth don't let failure stop them. Instead, they view failure as a learning opportunity. Resilience means picking yourself up after a setback, reflecting on what went wrong, and using that knowledge to improve. A resilient team doesn't crumble under pressure. It rises to the occasion, learns from mistakes, and comes back stronger. Commitment to growth also means embracing change. Change can be daunting, especially when it requires new ways of thinking, new skills, or stepping into unfamiliar territory. However, change is a natural part of growth. Teams that are open to change are more adaptable and more equipped to handle challenges. Embracing change means being willing to try new things, experiment with different strategies, and take risks. Teams that resist change become stagnant, while those that embrace it continuously push forward and grow. Change is often a catalyst for improvement, and teams that are committed to growth are always looking for ways to evolve. Additionally, creating a culture of growth requires continuous learning. As a team, it's essential to invest in ongoing learning opportunities. This could be in the form of training, workshops, seminars, or simply encouraging self-directed learning. When team members are given the tools and opportunities to learn and grow, they feel more empowered, capable, and confident. A culture of learning not only improves the skills of the team, but also increases engagement and motivation. When people feel like they are continually improving, they are more likely to stay committed to their work and to the team's goals. Celebrating progress is another important part of the commitment to growth. It's easy to get caught up in the big picture and forget to celebrate the small wins along the way. However, celebrating progress, no matter how small, helps to maintain momentum and motivation. It reminds the team that they are making progress and reinforces the idea that growth is an ongoing process. Recognition of achievements keeps morale high and encourages people to continue pushing forward. As a leader, it's important to model the behavior of growth and improvement. Led by example. Take responsibility for your own development. Seek out learning opportunities, and show your team that you are also committed to growing. When leaders model a commitment to growth, it sets the tone for the entire team. It shows the team that growth is not just something that is expected of them. It's something that everyone, including leadership, is committed to. This creates an environment where growth is seen as a shared value and a priority. Ultimately, teams that are committed to growth and improvement are more innovative, more resilient, and more successful. They don't shy away from challenges. They embrace them as opportunities to learn and grow. They constantly evaluate their processes, reflect on their performance, and make adjustments to improve. Growth is a mindset, and when everyone on the team adopts that mindset, the team becomes unstoppable. A team that is committed to growth isn't just focused on short-term goals. It's focused on long-term success. And that commitment to growth will sustain the team through any challenge, driving them to achieve greater and greater levels of success.